Good evening, Dr. Shweta. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking out time to for the interview with Collegedunia.
Thank you for the opportunity, Sahil.
Yeah. So before starting with the interview for our viewers, I would like you to just brief a bit about your profile with regard to your education as well as the experience.
Sure. So, Sahil, I am from the southern part of the country, and I did my engineering from Osmania University, and then moved to the United States to do my master's and PhD. I did my master's and PhD from University of North Carolina, Charlotte, in civil engineering. Then worked there for a few years, and then moved back, and I did my postdoctorate or postdoctoral program with IIT Madras,
Okay.
and then moved to the northern part of India. Then I have worked for a couple of universities over here at various levels. And right now I'm here as data director for international collaborations and research. So that was pretty much my professional career over the last 1.5 decades or so.
Okay.
So that sums up like a good amount of international exposure and Indian education, wherein I work for country organizations in countries like Africa, where a couple of places in Liberia, Buchanan, and Dubai. So I have some good international exposure. Maybe that is the reason I'm here.
That's great. So basically, you have an exposure of multiple kind of cultures and into various diversity. You work with people into various diversity, right? In the
Right,
current experience
right,
you have. Right. So
right.
that's great, and thank you so much for briefing yourself with regard to your experience as well as the education qualification. So, Dr. Shweta, let's get into the interview, and I'll start with the first question for our viewers. You have held key positions, as you told that, into the various education institutes throughout your professional career. So, what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Certainly, the very first factor that connects me to this segment is the young minds, wherein you get connected to what's going on, and because they are the future of the nation or for the globe, in fact. And education is one tool which can connect, nurture, and motivate these young minds. So that is one thing that gives me a sense of connection and responsibility as well. And that is what I enjoy personally and professionally, because I can upskill myself with, be it in the field I'm interested in, be it technology, be it with this technical stuff, at the same time nurture the young minds. So
Basically, you are always motivated to share your knowledge with the young minds to help them build a career.
absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely, and most of the times it is a two-way learning as well, because you understand what the students want, and ultimately they are the one who actually are the workforce of the country. So that helps you to understand what is today's need or tomorrow's necessity, so that you can build yourself and your institution accordingly. And they energize you, and they also mentor you in a way, and more importantly they rely on you, so that gives you a sense of responsibility, that you have some great responsibility onto your shoulders, wherein you really have to act wisely and give them the right direction. So apart from just the knowledge and constant learning that happens, which is equally important, I enjoy talking to the young generation and mentor them. So that is one thing that keeps me connected.
Okay. So that's completely great. And being the country with a younger population, more than 50% of our population is below 25 years of age, we have a very bright future to come and a lot of talent.
Absolutely.
And obviously, we
Absolutely.
need mentors like you to stay in the system and help those young minds. Yeah. So now coming to the next question, being the director the international research and collaborations at Shri Venkateshwara University, what is your philosophy of leadership? How would you describe your leadership style?
I always believe that great leaders should have a vision, and that vision can be accomplished if you provide opportunities to your team. So it's ultimately everything boils down to teamwork. Nothing can be done by a single person. It is never a single army or single man show. So a leader should not just walk, but he should or she should leave a path so that you nurture other young leaders to fill the void. There should not be a gap such that if today I am not there, then the organization, of course, everybody is replaceable for that matter. But at the same time, as a leader or in a leadership position, I think that one should be able to nurture many more leaders to come and join. And that leader or any leader for that matter should give equal opportunities to the team, help them perform, mentor them, nurture them so that they are equalizers and they take the enough equal responsibility. So once you nurture and once you have a good number of capable team, that means you are a good leader and your vision is accomplished.
Okay. So that means not being autocratic and giving the equal opportunity for everyone to perform and give their ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got your point. So additionally, being the director of international research and collaborations at Shri Venkateshwara University, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your institute?
See, times have been changing and they have been changing dramatically and significantly, and especially over this last 1 year or a few months, the pandemic has changed it even more.
Right.
Students, parents, or the state who are the considerable stakeholders of an education system are much more aware of what is happening today, unlike what it was previously, and they know what they want. They know what is the profession that they want to get into, how do they want to get into there. So universities or administrators like me, I'm sure they are looking into the aspirations of the students and programming or strategizing their programs so that you bridge that gap, which is so-called significant these days between the industry and the academia, because ultimately everybody wants to get employed or get into the professional world, or for that matter, even if they have to start up something for themselves, but still they need to be equipped with the proper amount of skills and tools, the right skills and right tools. So the programs are very dynamic and they need to keep be changed, and that is what we also follow. There is no special mantra or there is no special standardized program as it was before. I believe that it has to be reframed and restructured every now and then, depending upon the needs of the society and the global arenas, because it's the shift is happening so significantly and so fast that if we are not updated, then we cannot really give the same to the students or the society. So the programs what we usually include or we come up with have been structured such that they are in sync with what is happening in the professional world. So they keep changing, and we definitely work hard and stay constant, uh, keep a constant touch or eye on what's happening beyond the academia so that we can provide the same to the students.
Okay, that's good. So basically, what are the marketing activities you focus at with regard to the offline marketing, and we have a lot of scope into the online marketing these days. So basically, just a brief
Mhm.
about that. Now, with respect to the
With regard
university.
to online marketing, we definitely have a good amount of blogs, newsletters, and we have a lot of webinars, especially during this COVID times. We have come up with a lot of, since I take care of the international office and I work very closely with that. So we have a lot of international faculty and boards who have interacted with our students, explained them, discussed them. Most of our courses, if not completely, but at least anywhere between 10 to 40% were taught by international faculty. So that is something that we have ensured that the students are aware of, and the word is spread, because the student community is something that is very highly knitted, closely knitted, in fact. So whenever you do a good work, it automatically spreads. So
Right.
that is one thing that we have done, where we had a lot of webinars, free sessions, training programs, faculty development programs. and most of the other one is the traditional thing which keeps on going, like your Facebook marketing or your blogs or your Twitter, Insta. So those are some of the online marketing, and the offline admission team works on coming up with the USP programs and try to help them understand the benefits and the advantages of these programs.
Okay, so that's great. So basically, you are for the marketing part, you are focusing on both the offline and online platforms because
Right,
that's the need of the hour.
right.
Right. So basically, you have the kind of experience and the international exposure. So as per like the education system in India and the foreign countries are structured quite differently. So in your experience, what can an inbound student gain from like studying here in your institute?
Yeah, certainly the education system is very different.
Right.
When I went to a different country to pursue my higher education, so it was like a huge kind of a significant difference that I could make out between both the systems. And when I came back, again, it was the same thing for me, that there is a lot of difference in the education pattern, the assessment, the way the classes are conducted. In fact, the teacher and the student relationship is also very different here from what you see in the other countries. So that is one thing. Definitely we are very different from other parts of the globe. But at the same time, India is such a beautiful place with because of its diversity, especially, and the kind of welcoming nature we have. We are one of those diverse democratic country. However diverse we are equally democratic, welcoming the students. And that is one thing why international students look up to India, because you don't have any kind of glitches in settling down. Maybe you might be having a little bit of warm up period initially, but they blend so well with the Indian community and vice versa. That is one thing. And definitely India is one of those very affordable countries for higher education, and we are really good in education with respect to technical education especially. And there are thousands and very good number of institutions and organizations which offer short-term courses, diploma programs. So everybody has a segment in every area that they are really interested in. It is not like we India offers only a certain amount or a certain program or a specific thing. We have a huge menu of programs, and we are very economical. We are welcoming people with respect to the climate, with respect to the local society. So I think that is what makes foreign students or international students to look or check out our Indian programs in universities. So we follow the same thing even at our campus, wherein we have a wide variety of platform for the international students. We have very good welcoming and interaction sessions with with the Indian origin students. So that helps them to settle down, and moreover, the wide variety of programs we offer. I think that is also one reason wherein we are probably able to do good with respect to that.
Got a point. So basically, one more thing in India, we have an education that is more onto like focusing more on the theoretical aspects. We have seen in various courses. But what do you think that the kind of new education policy that has come into your views on that would be helpful with regard to the adoption of a similar kind of a program as in foreign countries?
Absolutely, because India, I agree with the first thing that you have said, that Indian education system is more of theoretical thing, but the new education policy, but universities have changed over a
Right.
period of time. There are many universities who are offering industry blended programs. There are universities which are focusing on internships, which who are focusing on incubation centers and entrepreneurship. There are quite good number of institutions in India who are working really hard and putting in their time, brains, and efforts to bridge that gap. And so we are evolving, we are changing, though it's a process, it's
Right.
not something that can happen overnight. But and the new education policy has actually become like an much more pushing factor, and it's kind of motivating the other set of institutions also who were still following the mainstream of Indian education. Now they are also falling into this blended learning and trying to adapt the new ways of teaching, new curriculum and new syllabi, so that the students are universally accepted. So this NEP policy was much needed policy, with be it with respect to the internships, be it with respect to industrialization, the role of internationalization. So it definitely was important, and I think it is already having its impact at many segments, because now I see lot of universities and colleges which are focusing more on practical education,
Right.
on internships, on so right from school. So the awareness is much better than what it was before, and I think we will see a good amount of progress very soon.
Right. I absolutely agree to your point. As we move and implement the new education policy, we would be like creating students that are more industry relevant, and they will be able to relate their jobs with what they have studied in their colleges. So that's
Right,
great. So how does the
right.
curriculum at your university ensure the best practice of the industry as of now?
So yeah, so industry now has become a significant partner, or it has started, or it should also had been even before, but nevertheless, at least now we are considering them as an important stakeholder of academia and about in the educational institutions and universities. So we have a very good corporate advisory board, who actually take part in our academic policies, who participate in our board of studies and research advisory boards. So they mentor us to formulate our curriculum and syllabus. They make us understand the importance of a specific program or a practice or a tool that's prevalent in the industry, so that we can help the students learn about it, help them get their hands on them on that particular practice or a tool. So most of the programs that we run are at least anywhere between 20 to 50% which have an influence, or which have considered the inputs from the industry. And definitely internships are something we are very particular about, and they are mandatory for the pre-final and final year students. Apart from that, there are a lot of incubation startups that we encourage, wherein the students can get to work with them. They get the idea about how to run an industry, or how to run an organization, or how to actually initiate an idea and put it onto the page, not just onto the paper, but even to visualize it and implement it. So there are several things that we are trying to implement and inculcate in the curriculum program, and industry is one such pillar which is supporting us and giving us the right direction. So they play a very important role, and they are a very key education or academia formulation partners.
That's completely fine, and I hope you'll agree to this point that we must push students towards more into entrepreneurship, and so that they can come up with their startups, and in long term we are able to generate more jobs.
Right. I totally agree with that, and definitely it is a very good sign that we see so many startups coming up,
Right.
and yeah, everybody, and especially this COVID also has really created, because unfortunately there was a lot of workforce which was either fired or were not able to continue their jobs for whatever reason,
Right.
which has triggered a sense of entrepreneurship in many of us. So
Yes.
that is something we are seeing a very significant shift, and we should really appreciate that as well. And always believe that if you're employed, it's just you, but if you are an employer, you can provide employment to 10 more people. So
Right.
once you have an organization for yourself, you're just definitely supporting 10 more people apart from yours. So that is something which organizations, very importantly, the educational organizations and institutions should nurture and support.
Okay, that's completely fine. That's completely great. As to we must encourage the people to go into entrepreneurship and generate opportunities for others as well. Now, coming to the next question, as to any insights onto how your institute could be more welcoming to students of different races or economic background.
Okay, first thing is that we don't believe in different races. But yeah, definitely with economic backgrounds, yes, there are a lot of scholarship opportunities. There are students who are being benefited because of many of the government schemes, and some many meritorious students are being uh, given scholarships of different forms and to a different levels. If somebody is really merit, there are students who have been completely waived off,
Okay.
and especially we have always also been working on identifying the students who come from families who were the frontline warriors during the pandemic. So these students were also given a good amount of opportunity with or support with respect to the um, fees and scholarships, because we really wanted to express our heartfelt gratitude to them. So with respect to economic background, we do offer a lot of support, and we have a good amount of students who are being benefited because of it.
Right. So basically, the scholarship, you're helping with the scholarship for students to like enroll even for the weak economic segment.
Right. Weaker economic sections, meritorious students who are not able to pursue their education because of financial constraints. Yes.
That's a great initiative. And what do you think about your roles and responsibilities towards the students at the university?
At the university, basically, it's more of an administrative position that I hold right now, or that's what I'm working on. But still, I definitely ensure that I interact with students every now and then, especially through my webinars and my training programs. And since most of these classes have been completely moved from offline to online, so I really miss my students over the campus, but we have a lot of interactive sessions every now and then. And for me, it is like I prefer interacting with the student as in more as a fellow rather than somebody who is scared of meeting their teachers or their head of the departments or deans, because if they are given an opportunity to express themselves and if you value their idea, something which is feasible, I'm not talking about any or something which is not which institutions cannot implement, but students have great ideas, and if you give them a platform, then they can actually, more than your marketing strategies or anything, the student community by itself is your flagship, and your alumni will talk very high about it. And that is how organizations actually grow in the West. Your alumni are your flagship holders. So when you give them a platform to express, when they feel that they are connected to the university, when they feel that their ideas are heard, then it automatically gives them that sense of connection and responsibility for the building of the institution. So the very first thing I believe is talk to them, understand what they are, because every student might not be a very bright student, but definitely every student is bright in his or her own way. Everybody has a skill that has to be nurtured. So identifying that specific skill or a talent that he or she has is what is the very important role of an academician or a teacher or a faculty or anybody in an educational institution. And for that, it is very important that you make them feel secured. You should make them feel that we are with them, and so that they might be wrong in the first one or two times, but definitely if you handheld them, mentor them, I'm sure they can do wonders. So it is very important to establish that connect, and I believe in doing that, wherein you talk to them regularly, interact with them within the limited time that we definitely have. I understand that these days the faculty are also overwhelmed with a lot of work, but still, if we have few hours a week wherein we can actually talk to them, understand what's going on and what they want to do ahead, then I think that way your organization, keeping everything aside, the organization will do exceptionally well, and it will attract more number of good students and nourish more bright talent.
I think I completely agree to this point that yes, the mentors like you can like even help the average students or the below average students like open up with regard to their shyness or something that they have once they enter the university.
Yeah.
Yes. So coming to the next question, what do you think that should be the institute's top priority over the next 10 years?
Institution's top priority for the next 10 years. With respect to my university or my institution, or you're asking me in general?
In general, basically.
Okay. Then any university's top priority should be their students. As simple as that.
Okay, and just bit brief about like what can be done with regard to helping the students in terms of priorities, like what kind of activities or what kind of changes you think that are required as per the current
I think
scenario?
Universities should give a 360-degree holistic approach. It should not be just the marks, the pen and paper kind of an exam anymore. We should make a tectonic shift in that area, I strongly feel. I think that is where we are lacking, and that is why probably many of us call as Indian education system being very theoretical.
Right.
Let students perform in their own areas of interest and in their own areas of wherein they are talented, or they really have a dream to pursue. So universities should give a platform wherein they can actually exhibit that skill. Students should not be gauged just upon their continuous assessments or internals or just an year-end or a semester-end exam. Opportunities and the ways of assessments should actually be very diverse. We need to understand and inculcate a variety of students into the system. We should probably move a little bit away from the mainstream of assessment and gauging a student. I think it's high time that we do that. There are some institutions who are definitely doing it, and I think many others should follow the same path. Identify different ways on how you want to assess. If somebody is really good in music and you want him to work in artificial intelligence and score an A+, I think that's being really cruel towards them. So maybe they can do fairly okay, and maybe they can just pass that exam because they have to do it, because it's a part of the curriculum. But maybe we should also give them definitely the choice-based credit system is something that we are working on, wherein many universities are giving them an opportunity wherein they can pick and choose the subjects that they want to. But I think we should expand a little more also towards non-conventional disruptive technologies, and maybe skilled programs, vocational courses, have a lot more electives and minimize the core subjects. Or I think that kind of process should be widely accepted and implemented. That way, the institutions and organizations can actually be the real educators and real providers of the right education to the youngsters.
Okay, so basically we need to like move from the 3 hours exam system to like accessing the student basically along with the course studies in their semester system or the yearly system.
Right. Like I don't know, it could be a very personal opinion, but at the same time, I think that is how the great universities have flourished, wherein which have produced all these CEOs and founders of Google or Facebook or whatever, because it is more of practical education, giving them a different kind of a platform wherein you can actually excel instead of having too many prerequisites, too many exams, which are actually just burdening the student, and wherein they are not able to find time to work on their real talents. Right. Because we know a lot of filmmakers who were engineers, we know a lot of photographers who were engineers or doctors, we know doctors who have become actors or vice versa. So educational qualification is entirely different, and the path or the dream that we want to pursue is very different. Before, it was called as outrightedly, I mean, it needed a lot of guts to do that, though we are now very happy with their progress, but it was not an easy path. If I'm an engineer and tomorrow I say that, no, I want to get into modeling, that is not something that is widely accepted. You really have to fight against a lot of internally and external systems. But if an university by itself gives us a platform wherein they identify or give us a platform wherein we can showcase both our interests and talent, I think that way that makes the student confident and as well as helps them to flourish in their choice of career.
Right, absolutely, I agree to your point. And as we talked about the new education policy, that's also like welcoming various kind of vocational courses since the schooling from class 6. And I hope that in future we'll be coming up with many new courses at the universities as well. So a person who is like willing
Right.
to do something into music or maybe into plumbing, they can do at a very early age, and they don't need to like complete their education in terms of engineering or any other field and then switch over to their choice, basically their choice of course.
Right. We should move a little offbeat and try to follow some of those or implement some of those tracks which are less traveled, but definitely successful, because that is how the university should, the ecosystem of the university probably should ultimately be built such that everybody has a place there.
Right, right, right. So basically, coming to the next question, when you first came to Shri Venkateshwara University, what was your vision for the institute? And has it evolved over time? And how far along in implementing the vision are you?
Uh, the vision with which I came to the university, to be very honest, was very specific, and it was to internationalize the university because it was not that globalized before, or very minimally globalized, but with the NEP policy, and the management really wanted to implement the government's initiatives, and they were really very keen and highly motivated to uh, ensure that the university is globally recognized and have best of the international programs within the campus. So my specific vision or agenda with which I walked in here was to internationalize the university. So I made some good progress, but definitely it was a team effort. Our team has worked really hard, and within a very short span, we were able to make close to 100 international collaborations. Now we are connected with various universities across various continents and countries all over the world. So we have made some significant progress, and of course, it's a long way. And now we are in the third phase of internationalization, wherein we want to execute these programs, and we are working on that. And I'm sure that this would be a very good opportunity for the students here as well as the inbound students, because as said, we being a very democratic, diverse, and welcoming, warm country, so definitely our university will be a very good destination for education for international students, and vice versa, because definitely everybody gets to learn something from from other institution or another part of the world. So the students from our university will be given a very good opportunity to travel, to learn, to understand the various cultures, teaching practices, learning practices, and I'm sure that will help them mold themselves into a global citizen.
Okay. So basically, you focused on the international collaborations, and you have been successful in doing that. Wherein a student who comes at the university has an exposure to the international culture, obviously, because you have tie-ups with various kind of universities worldwide.
Yes. Yes.
That's
So
great.
we have made more than 100, around 100 plus collaborations, and now we are working on uh, various initiatives and programs for the students who would want to come here and the students who would want to travel to our partner institutions. So I'm sure we have a long way to go, but I'm happy with the space the team has been working with so far. So.
That's great. Coming to the last question for the interview. So what would you like people to know about your institute that they may not know?
One thing I would definitely want to maybe whoever is watching or whoever comes to gets to watch this is that Shri Venkateshwara University, located in the northern part of the country, we are really a diverse university by ourselves, offering a great number of programs, 60 plus programs across various segments and disciplines. And our industry led programs and now our international programs are something that will give a very fair opportunity to students of various interests. And the kind of support the university offers to different students, be it as Mr. Sahil was asking me about the economically weaker sections or merit students. So there is a lot of opportunities, and we believe that education has to be reached to each and every deserving person. So we believe in that motto, and everybody can find a program, can find a course, and more importantly, a very good mentor and faculty, because everybody is taken personally. So one thing that I would say is it could definitely be a very good one-stop university where you can find courses from short-term courses to your doctoral programs, be it nationally or globally driven programs or industry-led programs. So that makes it one good ecosystem by itself for education.
That's great. That's great. So basically, we're done with the questions of the interview, and it was pleasure interviewing you at Collegedunia. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you
the
so much,
time.
Sai.
I think basically this interaction would help the students choose a better course, like a better college, and make up their minds. Thank you so much
Definitely,
for being with us.
definitely. Thank you so much.